and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Maddison and I am coming to you from a very sunny Glasgow in Scotland. I'm just outside Glasgow. We're about 3 train stops away from Glasgow. We have had rain constantly for I don't know how long now, and yesterday and today we've actually got sunshine, so we've got some very good lighting today. Yeah, I live here with my husband and our 2 tortoises, and that's me. I am a multi-crafter, so I crochet. It's mainly crochet. I also knit. I make bags, and I cross stitch, and sometimes I make clothes. I have a fashion degree, so that's my background, and I used to be a teacher in Essex teaching textiles and fashion as well as art. And at the moment in Scotland, I'm not currently working in education. I am a private carer, but hopefully I want to get back to teaching at some point, hopefully soon. But yeah, so this is my monthly podcast. It is time to wrap up for February. And I do a monthly podcast. Every month I go through what I've made that month through the general format of a podcast. So I always start with plans, so what I had planned to do that month, my finishes, my whips, acquisitions, and then plans for next month. And this year has been a little bit different because I have started doing something called temperature crafting, where I have assigned 10 projects for numbers 0 to 9, and I will take the high temperature for each day of the week, and whatever project that links to in terms of numbers, then that is the project I will work on for an hour that day. I do have other projects in the midst as well, so I have a focus project every month, and I inevitably will cast something new on. So my aim is to have like 1 out, 1 in policy at least, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. In February I started 3 new things, but you'll see why, because it kind of cancels itself out. Anyway, I have actually finished 2 of those. No, I finished 1 of those. I can't even remember right now. I do have notes, so I will work through my notes. This might be a long podcast because I have worked on quite a lot of projects this month. So I'm going to see how long it gets to by the time I finished going through all my whips, and I may do my acquisitions in a separate video, depending on how long this is, because I don't want it to be too long for you. So yeah. Shall we get into it? So my plans then for February, I had 2 plans. One was to finish Gnandad's Adventure, which is a gnome, the mystery gnome from Christmas by Sarah Shearer of Imagine Landscapes. And I wanted to have the LoveNote as my focus project. And those of you that are eagle-eyed will notice that I am wearing my LoveNote. So I will talk about that in finishes. But yeah, I only had two plans for February, and then promptly started other things, and I've taken on a crochet test project, a blanket pattern as well. So there's a lot going on here at the moment. But yeah, let's have a chat about my finishes for February. So I have finished 4 items for February, one of which you have not even seen because it was not even on the radar. It's been on my radar, but I've not mentioned it in previous podcasts or even my plans for the year. So yeah, the first finish then is obviously my LoveNote sweater. This is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. I'll stand up so you can see it a bit better. So it's a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's got this lovely lace section at the front. It goes all the way around to the back. so I have to wear a slip underneath. I've just got a vest. It's got a low-high hem. I've done the low-high option, so the back is longer than the front. And it just goes below the waistband of my trousers. So I'm very happy with it. I've also done sort of short sleeves. I've done elbow length sleeves. I think it has a 3/4 length sleeve in the pattern, but I didn't want long sleeves because I am going to be wearing this at East Anglia Yarn Festival in March, and I tend to get quite hot in the venue, so I thought short sleeves would be a bit nicer. It's also easy breezy, so I shouldn't be too hot. Yes, this is one of the make-along patterns for East Anglia Yarn Festival this year. This is the knit pattern. The crochet pattern is the Franny Granny sweater, I think, but it's done in Aran yarn, and I don't have a lot of Aran yarn in my stash. So I did, however, I ordered this yarn at East Anglia Yarn Festival in 2023. I think it might have been 2023. I ordered this yarn. This is from Castleview Yarns, who is Jen. This is on her Merino DK. So it's 100% merino. It's very soft. It feels nice. And it is on the colour Flyaway, which was part of her Moulin Rouge collection. So I guess I need to kind of check when that collection was launched, because that's when I ordered this yarn. So I ordered 4 skeins, and I have used 3 full skeins, and I have 80 grams left of the 4th one. Now, I've done this on the recommended needle sizes, so 6mm for the main body and 4.5 for all the ribbon. My ribbon, my cast off around the neck is a little bit tight. There's no giving it at all. My cast off at the bottom is a lot looser, but I have blocked it, so there is no longer any more give in it. What I found is that if I cast off using the English throwing style, so the yarn in my right, my cast off is a lot looser than if I do it continental style, which is what I did here, because I forgot that I was meant to be doing it looser. So yeah, this one is a little bit, but it fits. It goes over my head. That's all that matters. My sleeves are also a little bit snug in terms of the cast off edge, and I did go up a needle size to do the cast off, but I think maybe a bigger needle might have worked better. Yeah, it fits. That's all that matters. It fits. It's not cutting off any circulation. We're all good. So I have used 320 grams. I've used the recommended needle sizes 6mm and 4.5, and it is very big though. My armhole stops up here, so it's kind of like a bat wing look to it. My tension is very loose, so what I'm thinking is I could knit another one, or when I decide to knit another one, I have a few sets of, I've got 3 skeins. I've got 3 different lots of 3 skeins of yarn in DK that I could make another one of this. What I would do is drop a needle size for the body, but keep the same needle size for my ribbon, and maybe do less repeats of the lace, because my tension is obviously very loose and the lace is very loose. So yeah, I don't need, or I think I could probably do with not doing the, you have to do X. I did size 5, and you do the lace section twice plus another 5 rows of it. I don't think I needed the extra 5 rows, because that's what this last, trying to find a way of explaining it, that's this last 5 here. I don't think I needed them. Yeah, so there is a lot of room in this deck. It's very stretchy this way, but it's comfortable. it's going to be perfect for the show. But I do think if I make another one, I will make some changes. I will make some modifications. I could even just do a smaller size, potentially. But I need the width in the arms. So I don't know. I don't know if I did any decreases in the arms or whether it's just straight. I think there's decreases before. Yeah, there's decreases before you do the ribbon. So I don't think I would do the decreases next time because I don't need it tight. I think if it was down here, then yes, I would need the decreases, but up here I don't. So I shouldn't have done them. But anyway, it's fine. I love it. I love the colour. I will pop up some pictures, better pictures, because it's not... I'm not doing a very good job of showing it off. But yeah, so I used 320 grams. I started January 15th and I finished February 13th. So it wasn't even on my needles for a full month. And I'm very pleased with that. For my first sweater, this is my first knitted sweater. And I did it in less than a month. And I love it, which is why I now want to make another one and make it fit a little bit snugger. Because this is very batwing-esque and I'm not keen on batwings because I tend to want to put like a big jumper or my coat over the top and then I end up with restricted arm movement. So yeah, I will make some modifications, but I loved working on this. It worked up so quickly, and I think knitting it on a smaller needle size would get me a better fit, have less of the batwing effect going on, and possibly even knit up a lot quicker. But I want to be able to try and do it in 3 skeins of yarn rather than have to break into a 4th. So I have 80 grams left over. Yeah, so that is finish number 1. So then finish number 2 is off of my whip list. So at the start of the year, I always do a whip audit, and I started the year with 22 whips, and I have taken off, I took off the mixed media shawl in January, and now in February I've taken off 2 more. So the first one is a little cushion that I've made. So this panel was made using the Radiating Squares pattern by Sophie of A Spring Snowflake. I used Merino DK minis, which were dyed by Gem of the Little Grey Girl. These are all her Tula colours, and then there are some greys in here as well. So the front panel is Tunisian crochet using the Radiating Squares pattern that I learned from Sophie, and I've used the Little Grey Girl yarn. The back panel, all I have done is I used Yarn Smith's Merino DK. Just over 1 ball. I think I used 60 grams and they're 50 gram balls. So I've just done a very simple Tunisian simple stitch panel that is 50 stitches by 50 stitches because I had 10 for each of these squares, so that makes it 50 by 50. So I've done 1 solid panel, and then I have had an IKEA mini, a little IKEA pillow, the little blue ones. They're like 40 by 40 centimeters ish. No, they've got to be smaller than that. 30 by 30 possibly. I've just popped that inside, and all I have done is crocheted through all of, I did the back loop from this one and the front loop from this one in the edge, and just done a double crochet all the way around. I put 2 in each end stitch in the corners, and I've just gone all the way around so it's sealed. But yeah, there's another finish for this year, another finish for February, because I think I had the panel done last year and then started the back panel in January. So it's nice to have a finished project, because where I had all of the minis, I didn't want to then add different yarn to it. I wanted to keep it all together and the same. So yeah, I'm quite happy that I've made it into a little pillow. It can be used to make a blanket pattern. or I know a friend of mine has actually made it into a cardigan and it looks amazing. So definitely go and check out Sophie's patterns. I think they're all on Ravelry. If I can find a link to this pattern, I will share it below, but otherwise do go and check out her YouTube channel as well. She is a spring snowflake here on YouTube, and she also has a blanket using this pattern, so she's working on it for her Scrap Happy challenge for this year. So this goes into the Scrap Happy for this year as well, because it uses lots of minis. And I think in total I used 143 grams of yarn, and I know that the back was 62 grams or something, so I think it's 80 grams for all of those little squares. And I used a 6mm crochet hook. So I used a 6mm crochet hook for all of these because they're quite small, but I used a 6mm Tunisian crochet hook for the back because it's a longer panel. Yeah, it's finished number 2. And I literally have, these are the minis left over, or leftovers from the minis. So there's not very much at all. I mean, there's probably only a few meters of the pink and the yellow and green. But yeah, that is all I have left. I used every scrap that I had otherwise, and this is the grey I used from Warehouse. This is Yarnsmith's, their own Merino DK. This is shade 3015. It is a grey. I can't remember what colour it is called on the website. But yes, I've used one and a little bit. And this is a picture of Sophie's blanket. So, yeah, I'm very happy with that finish. And it's been in a Gem of the Little Grey Girl bag as well. So now that's ready to be emptied. And a new project put in, because I'm running out of project bags. I know, scary. I do have a massive bag filled with more project bags, but they're bigger bags. They're not small bags, and I'm running out of small bags. Now, in terms of dates for the Radiating Squares pillow, I actually started that in March of 2023, March the 18th. So I learned how to do the Radiating Square pattern at East Anglia Yarn Festival in 2023. And I finished that on February 19th. 2026. So it's been quite a long time. It's been nearly 3 years, and I'm just glad to have it finished. Next finish then is a project that was living in this bag. So if you remember what this bag was, this was Gnandad from Gnandad's Adventure. This is a coffee and yarn cakes bag in the Christmas dinosaurs, which I love. And I still have quite a lot of yarn left over. So the yarn I have used, The yarn I have used is a Gnomes mini kit from Giddy Yarns. This is the Winter Berries on 4-ply. And when I weighed everything, I realised I've only used 22 grams of yarn for this gnome, which I think is insane. That's not an awful lot of yarn at all. I have used the recommended needle sizes, which is 2.25mm and 2.5. Where is this? There we go. That's Giddy Yarns label. That is Helen. And I have finished Gnandad. So this is my little Gnandad. Look at his little feet. So Gnandad can have skis as well. Sarah Shearer, who is the designer behind this of Imagine Landscapes, designs all these beautiful gnomes, and she has a video up showing you how to attach pre-made skis for the gnomes, but you can also do it with lollipop sticks. So he's got little feet. I don't think I will put skis on though. I've put his feet quite close together just because I want him to just stand up. He's got weighted beans in him. He's got some silicone beans, which is weighted stuffing, which I picked up from my friend Kirby of Knit Crochet Read Repeat podcast. I finally did the knots at the top of his hat, Although they don't sit up, they sit outwards. I'm not sure how I would get them to sit better than that. Yeah, my colourwork was not brilliant here. It is slip stitch colourwork, and I was clearly very tight because it's very straight. Yeah. But I really enjoyed working on him. He has turned out so well. My straps, my suspenders were a little bit short, but I was not wanting to make them again. So I have just stretched them and tucked the arms in as best I could into the corners. Yeah. But I love him. It's so much fun. He has an Estonian braid. I've not done that before. So that was quite fun. Yeah. So now I just need to make Nana to go with him because he's all on his own. He just has Numpkin to keep him company. I've got plenty of other gnomes ready to go there. They're all in bags. All the yarn is there. I think a couple of them might even have the... Oh, I don't think they've got the patterns printed out. I will have to go and print all the patterns and put them with them. But I've got at least 4 gnome kits ready to go. So, yeah, that is my gnome. So I used 22 grams of yarn. The recommended needle sizes for the 4-ply yarn. And I started him on December 5th and finished him on February 21st. I'm very happy with my Gnandad gnome. My last finish then for February was actually a new start in February. And it has been living in another coffee and yarn cakes bag. This is the Soot Sprite bag. And it's finished. So I actually started this on February the 13th and I finished it on February the 22nd. If I'm looking down, it's because my notebook is right below me. This is the 8-bit doodle hat by Jamie Lomax of Pacific Knit Company. So this has Pac-Man and Pac-Man ghosts. I had my husband colour in the black and white chart so I knew what colours he wanted. I have used Yarnsmith's Merino DK in black, which is shade 3000. And I have used a total of 78 grams. So I've used 1 whole ball of the Merino DK, and I did have to dip into the second one, but I can't remember what my totals were for each. I have used mini skeins from Botanical Yarn, which I picked up at the Woolly Good gathering last year. So 5 mini skeins. I have used very little of these. Very little. Yeah, I've used a total of 78 grams of yarn. I was even using my Pac-Man needle stoppers that I picked up from Folk Yarn Studio at the open day in 2024. Yeah, 2024. So I've got Pac-Man, and I've used 2 different ghosts. I've got a blue one and a red one. I do have more of them, but those are the ones that I've been using. And I have finished my hat. So this is actually from my husband. It is for Christmas, but I wanted to get it started and it just flew off the needles. 9 days this took me. February 13th to February 22nd. 9 days for my first colourwork knitting. I don't necessarily count the colourwork on Gnandad as colourwork because it was slip stitch colourwork. It's not stranded. So it's a different type of colourwork. This is the first stranded colourwork I have done in knitting. And I'm very happy with it. So it has a double, so folded brim, which I have knit together. And I have woven in all the ends. I just need to block it because it's looking a bit bobbly at the top. And even though I did sew the top together, so it closed. My husband goes, oh, there's a hole in it. Yes. So I have used the orange at the bottom down here, blue for the ghosts, pink in the middle, yellow for Pac-Man, and then this one is green. There's not an awful lot of contrast between the yellow and green, but I think it works, so I don't mind. I did, however, change needles a few rounds into the orange colour work. Now, I was working on this at Knit Night. Well, it's not Knit Night, it's Craft Club, which is run by Kirby of Knit Crochet Read Repeat. And I was using higher sharps. And I kept stabbing my finger with the needle. So it turned out that Kirby was actually working on their blanket, and they had the same needle size on a 16-inch circular. So we swapped needles, and that meant that my stitches were a little bit, some were quite loose and then some others were quite tight. So what I ended up doing was, once I'd finished, I got a darning needle and just pulled the looser ones so they were a bit smaller, and then just kept going all the way round. I went round a few times and just kept going and working that yarn up the rounds to try and even it out a bit, and I think that has worked. There's plenty of stretch in there from my floats. Shall I put it on? Oh, I love it. Now I need to make me one. So yeah, that is, so it's a bit loose there, but my husband then also says, oh, it's a bit tight. It needs to be blocked yet. Yeah, I have a bigger head than him as well, so I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, I'm very happy with my doodle cow, my first doodle project, my first colourwork project. I now have lots of other colourwork projects on my list, and I've messed up my hair. But yeah, that is another finished project. That's 4 for February. And you may see another colourwork project in March, because I've already started. Well, I've not started another one. I'm working on another one. Yep. That's it. That's my 4 finished projects for February. Now, as I've done the hat for Ralph, my husband, I will also be doing the cowl for him as well to go with it. So I'm going to leave everything in this bag, and I think I'm just going to need more of the black yarn to do the cowl as well. So we will see. Again, it will be for Christmas, so I don't need to do that straight away. But I'm wondering whether that will be quite a nice project actually for when I go on holiday later this year, in a few months' time. So I might work on that then, because it's a small enough project, but there's enough interest and it's easy to do. Yeah. But I may also have to take a crochet project just in case I decide to try and take my knitting needles off of me on the airplane. I don't know. Just in case. I don't want to lose my knitting needles. Right, now we're on to works in progress, my whips. And there are quite a lot. So we're going to start off with my temperature crafting. So that is where I have assigned 10 projects for numbers 0 to 9. And I take the highest temperature of each day. And if it's double digits, I take the second digit. And whatever project links to that number, I work on it for an hour in the day. And what I have actually been doing is saving them up and working on them at weekends. This week, however, I have been up to date and worked on them all on the day I was supposed to, which is utterly confusing because that never happens for me. So I have 10 projects. Not all 10 projects show up though in terms of temperature each month. So I think there's 2 that haven't shown up this month, and one of which didn't show up last month either. So I may have to do something different. Yeah. Right. First off though, Gnandad was one of those projects, and he came up twice this month, and he has been finished. So what I have done is I have a tiny decisions app on my phone, and I have all my projects in that, and it's like a little wheel, and I spun that wheel of all my whips from prior to 2026 to see what project to replace it with. However, it picked the My Favourite Things project, which I turned into a scarf. It was supposed to be a blanket. I turned it into a scarf. I can't find it. I have searched this room. I've searched in all these boxes where I thought it was going to be. There's only one box I haven't searched, and that's the one right down the bottom behind me. That's the only box I haven't checked. But I can't find this project. So I might spin again, and eventually when I do find the project, I'll work on it then. I'm not sure where it is. But yes, so anyway, Gnandad came up twice. He's now finished, so I have to replace that project in my list of 10. I have also had... So I've got progress on 7 other projects. I have my On the Seashore blanket, which is a pattern by Rosina Plain. This did not come out at all in January, because this is number 1, I think, on my list. But I am now working on the last section. I've got a few rows into the last set of shells, and there is like a smaller row of shells at the very top as well. So I think there's 10 rows. 6 rows. I've done 6. Yeah. 6 rows in that one. They take a while to do. I won't show you the whole thing because you've seen it before. I'm using Beaches from King Cole in DK. It is quite a fine DK though, so I'm actually using a 3.5 hook instead of a normal 4mm hook that I would use for DK. And that's coming up quite nicely. It's in a project bag from this Gibby Russo's. Yes, Gibby, it's a big sheepy bag. I'm hoping that will be finished soon because it's only one section. If it doesn't keep coming up in my temperature crafting though, I may pull this to be a focus project and replace it in my temperature crafting, because this should be finished soon. That came up twice, so which is why I've only put in 6 rows. And next up, I then have my Toft 2022 Advent, which I started in December. I now have a lot of the body pieces complete, actually. I've got the body itself. We've got 2 legs. And I have 2 wings as well. So that's the first wing, which has beads down the edge. It's a weird shape. It's got 3 prongs. And then I've started the second one. So that's where I am on the second one. I've just got 2 prongs. So I've got 1 more to do, and then the beads to add for it to match this. And this came up 3 times. So I've managed to finish this one, do both those, and add the extra talons, the claws at the back of that as well. There's a Toft kit. It is Asta the Bird of Hope. And so that one's had quite a lot of progress actually for 3 hours. I then have the Mighty Samurai. I'm not going to bring it upstairs because it's on a big frame and I can't be bothered. But I'll pop up pictures of before and after. That has had 2 hours work on it. And I was adding everything to my folder to do the next video for it, and I'm now at 66 hours on that project, so I shouldn't have much left to do on that iPhone. But yes, that came up twice. I then have my Between the Lines shawl, which is in a me-made bag. This is a retreat bag. This one always gets a lot of love in terms of the bag. This came up 6 times. And so this is using 2 Shepherds Wells. And I'm getting very close to the middle colours now. The balls, the cakes are actually looking quite small. Yeah, and we're starting to actually go peachy. Or we're starting to head into the oranges now. And almost every time I pick this up, the yarn is changing colour. So I've not long changed grey as well. I changed grey yesterday, but I can't find the stitches now where it's a bit thicker, which is quite nice that they do get hidden quite well, but at the same time, oh, there it is. I've not long, that's my big, I've just changed to the next line of grey, which means that the pink will change on this row as well. They tend to change at the same time. The pink heart is where I started February. This marker is for row 250. So I have done 30 something rows, I think, this month. So I will move this marker up again, and I will add another marker once I hit 300 stitches. I need to do 300 rows rather. I need to do 422 rows. So I have a stitch marker in at this end. That is repeat number 10 of the pattern. I have just finished another, well, not long finished another repeat that's there. So I've done 11 repeats, which means I have 3 more repeats to do. And I love it because it's an optical illusion. It's very clever. But yeah, that may also get pulled so that I can use it as a focus project. I don't know yet. I've got quite a few that I want to pull and use as focus projects, so we'll see. We'll see what March brings. Next up is my gingerbread socks. So these are my Christmas socks. I started these in December of 2022, and I have actually finished 1 sock. I can't remember if I finished the sock last month or this, I think it was last month, but I have 1 finished sock. I think it was definitely last month. So I have a stitch marker in every 10 rounds for the foot, and I have the cuff done, and I am now working it down the leg, just round and round. This has come out twice, and I think they're almost matchy, which is quite nice. So yep, considering it didn't take me long to finish the first sock in the end, I could probably pull that as well and finish that one. But the idea behind having the temperature crafting is that I do have to work on it. I don't just leave it and work on something else. I will work the hour into that project, which means it gets worked on. So actually this could stay in my, it could all stay in my temperature crafting. It's just that I want to see them finished. I know that if I pull it, I won't work on it, so it's staying in the temperature crafting. Right, the last one then is my Zuri Tunisian blanket. I didn't tell you what bag that was. This is a bag from the Little Grey Girl, which is a little drawstring bag, sock project bag. Another Little Grey Girl bag. This has a crocheter badge from Stitch Sisters, is that right? I can't remember. So this is the Zuri Tunisian crochet blanket that I've been working on. There's 25 squares to make. And in February, I have finished 2 squares. So this actually came out 8 times. So in 8 hours, I can do 2 squares. So I have finished square 7, which is this nice stepped zigzag here. This is the finished square, which has come out very nice indeed. So that's the first one that I finished for February. The second one I have just finished, is square number 8. Now I don't have 8 full squares though, because I think it's square number 5 that I'm missing the last few rows on, because I ran out of that blue colour. So I may have to frog it. But yeah, I finished square 8 as well, and that looks like this. So I've got 2 more squares done for this blanket, which is great because I haven't touched this for so long. I'm pretty sure this is from 2023. Yes, it says it on the pattern. So this was started in January of 2023. And I now have 7 finished squares, which is great. So I need to put these back in the folder and pull out the next one. I have started the next one. I have literally done the chain, and I have picked up all the stitches for the foundation row, and then I'll just do my return pass for those. And that's all of my temperature crafting, but that's not all of my whips. And I did say that this video was going to be long. So other projects that I have worked on in February, then I have 5. 2 are new starts, 2 are old whips, and 1 was a new start in January. So I have in my sparkly mushroom bag, I say sparkly mushroom, this one says sprinkle a little fairy dust. You can't really see it, I need to embroider over it, and I've got a mushroom house that I designed. This was done at Carry On Crafting in 2024 with the lovely Julia and with the help of Chewy. This is the printing press company. So in here I have my Imaginist box 20 make. So this is the body so far. I've shared this already. She did only have 1 leg. She now has 2 legs. There is the second leg. And I have been making some more leaves as well. So eventually that will get finished. So yeah, that is box 20. I need to get this one finished, and then I can actually get back to getting my Toft projects up, their videos up, and on the channel. Then I have my weekender blanket. I actually did some of this this morning. So I'm using minis from Truly Hooks. This is Blanket Club from 2021. So I have 10 gram DK minis. There are 20 in here. I have another 20, so I have 40 in total. The weekender blanket is a pattern by Cherry Heart, which is this one, and it's Sandra Paul. So I'm making lots of little hexagons, and I don't know how many I had in January, possibly only 2. Did I finish 2 lots in January? So that's the first one. No, it's not, it's colour 2. So I had colour 1 and colour 2 definitely in January, and I have done colour 3, which is this one. There we go, colour 3, and then colour 4 is this one. So I'm getting 3 little hexagons from each mini. There is a little bit left over, but it's not enough for another one. So I'm just wrapping them up in each of their yarn tails and then tying on the colour number so I know what order they go in, and then just all going back in this bag. And then that one is colour 4, that's colour 3. So I've got a lot to go through, but this is sort of my pick up and put down project, so I think this might go on holiday with me as well, because it's easy to do and I just need a little pair of scissors in my bag so that I can cut the yarn. So I could get quite a lot of hexagons done actually on holiday. Yeah, so that is the weekender blanket. I've also started, because I went through my yarn to start a blanket project. I'm going to show you the blanket project first actually, because it's easier to get to. It is currently in a Glasgow School yarn bag from last year. And I am using rainbow cakes that I got from Lolly's Little Wool Shack years ago. And when I say years ago, I'm thinking before lockdown, years ago. So I had 3 like this that are really soft. The other 2 are here. Like this. So I have 3 of those. And I needed a contrast colour, so I ordered quite a lot of yarn from the Wool Factory. I ordered, and they come in bags of 5 skeins or hanks, so they're all 100-gram hanks. They were £5.50 a bag, so you get five skeins for £5.50. It is acrylic, that's fine, that's what I needed. I just balled up one, so I'm using a white contrast against the rainbow, and this is a pattern by Robin Parent that I am testing again. So I did, the last one I did of hers was the Concerning Habits blanket. So this one is called Sweet Dreams. So these are going to look like dream catchers, and it's working out pretty well. I've done over 20 rows. I can't remember when I started this. Last week, maybe? So that's quite a lot of progress for me. However, I'm using a 4mm hook. But my hands are becoming really flaky and scratchy. This one's really bad here. But my thumb is really flaky. So I've moisturised today, and I can still see flaking here. I think it's to do with my work and having to sanitize my hands all the time and having to wash my hands. It is not fun to work with. This keeps getting caught on my fingers. Now, the reason I bought this yarn, one, it was cheap and it came really quickly. But Kirby ordered some of this as well, and so did their mum. And it was actually quite soft. This feels a bit, it's getting stuck to my fingers. So once it's worked up, it seems to be quite nice. But as I'm working with it, it's not fun for me because my hands keep sticking to it. Yeah. And other than moisturising my hands, I don't know what else I can do about that. But I'm working on that. That is a test project. It needs to be done by the end of May. I think that's when the release is. I am not here the end of May. So I'm doing it now and trying to get it done. That is my main focus project for March. To try and get as much done on it as possible. Before, when I did the Concerning Habits blanket, my aim was to do 10 rows a day. I can't remember. I was trying to do 10, trying to do it in blocks of 10, to try and get it finished as quickly as possible. So we'll see how it goes. I'm doing as much as I can basically until it gives me the ick in terms of my fingers, and then I have to move on to something else. But there we go. What else do I have? I started another hexagon cardigan, a hexy cardigan, using the same yarn because I have quite a lot. I actually found 12 balls of this yarn. And I've been wanting to make another hexy cardigan for a while. My rainbow one, which is currently there, I wear a lot, to the point where people steal it from me and wear it because it seems to fit everybody. My plan was to make another one and do a tutorial on how I made mine, because I didn't follow a pattern. So I have started another one. So I've not done very much, but again, it's sticking to my fingers. So yeah, I got started, but then I started the blanket, and that takes priority. Yeah, so it will get done at some point. I just don't know when. It would take, if I worked on it just on its own, it would take me just over a month to do. But I have lots of other projects to do. Right, one more project to show you. Where have I put it? Here. So this one is an old whip as well, but it's not in my temperature crafting at the moment. This is another hat, and I thought I'd pick this one up because I finished the 8-bit doodle hat. This one is also colour work. So this is the Pandemonium hat, and somehow I've ripped the pattern. I don't know how. I think I was trying to smooth it out and it ripped. So it's got pandas on it. I am using Starcraft Special DK. And this feels so much softer and nicer to work with than the yarn I've picked for the blanket and the hexie cardigan. So this is raspberry. And then I will be graduating that into carnation, which is this one. So this one has the flecks in it. Trying to avoid the sunlight now because it doesn't show up very well. Yeah, so this one has the flecks in, and I then just have black and white. And I have finished the ribbon. There are 24 rows of ribbon in this. So I have finished the ribbon, and I didn't realise that I actually had 4mm symphonies in a 16-inch circular. 4mm symphony is what Kirby lent me. They are downstairs. This is my pair, which I started this hat on in March of last year. So maybe this might actually, I don't know if this will be finished by the time I go to EAYF this year. Because I think I started it the weekend before EAYF, or the week of EAYF. So I've done all the ribbon. It is 2x2 ribbon. I think I prefer 1x1, but it's quite neat. Pretty neat actually for me. And it's quite stretchy, which is nice. I've done the increase round rather. I need to swap this needle for a 4.5 needle, which I've just put the tips on. So I need to start knitting with the bigger tips, the bigger needle, to do the colour work. Yes. So there's that. That is a pattern by I Knit to Pearl To. I don't think it has the actual name on here, just Karen Michelle. There's a bigger picture there. Yeah, so then I'm straight into the colour work. I think I've got 5 rounds of the pink to do. Yeah, 5 rounds of the pink, and then I'll start the colour work. So I could probably get the colour work done today actually. Who knows at this point? But that is all of my whips. I did say it was going to be a long one, and it has been. So apologies that it's quite long. Now I do have quite a lot of acquisitions, and we're already pushing an hour. So I will film them in a separate video for February acquisitions video. Let's do that, because you don't want to be here all day. But yeah, so that is everything I'm going to share with you today. I have 2 plans for March, and that is that my focus project is going to be the Sweet Dreams blanket because it's a test project. I want to try and get as much work done on that as possible, but I also want to finish the Pandemonium hat. So my main goals then, therefore, moving forward are going to be try and finish something, make as much progress on something else. So I've got 2 focus things to do alongside my temperature crafting, because I know that as the temperatures get consistent, not all the projects are going to be pulled out for temperature crafting, so I can take them out and move them to focus projects as and when I need to, or I feel like they're not being touched at all. There's 1 project so far in my temperature crafting that has not been pulled at all. It might get pulled tomorrow. Called rather, not pulled. It might pop up tomorrow because I think it's going to be 10 degrees tomorrow. And that project is under 0. So it needs some work. It's not been touched for at least 2 months. I know it's not been touched for a lot more than that. But yeah, we will see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, that is all my finishes and all my whips for February. And lastly, I have a few things to tell you about. So a little bit of news, a little bit of updates for you. Progress updates in a way. So the bingo board that I started, I'll pop up a picture of the bingo board. It's a bingo crafting board. It is hosted by Helen of Giddy Yarns, Giddy Knits podcast, over in her Discord. And you effectively put 9 crafting challenges into a bingo board, and throughout the year you tick them off, and you score points this year for depending on if you get a row, a column, or a diagonal, or the whole board, for example. I have finished 3 of my squares and they make a line. So I finished, have to check my other book, my other notebook. So I have finished, I knit the LoveNote, which is this. I knit a gnome. I finished a gnome, but I knit most of the gnome this year. And I've done a mini skein make, which was my 8-bit doodle hat, as well as the gnome. So they can cover both. I think I'm going to end up just adding a tally to these, because I know there's more projects I want to work on this year that fit into multiple of these categories. So I have finished a line, and I'm just highlighting it as I go in my book. And on that note, this is my whip list. I have now ticked off 3 projects from my whip list, from my whip audit, which started 2026. So I had 22 whips when I came into... No, I didn't. I had 20 whips. I keep saying I had 22. Last year I had 22. I started the year with 20 whips. I've now removed 3 of them. That takes me down to 17 whips. However, I started the Weekender blanket, and I started the Sweet Dreams blanket, and I've started a Hexicardi. So I'm back up to 20. I think it's going to keep doing that, but I'm keeping a tally here as well for that. So I finished 3 off of my previous whip list projects, and I have completed 5 things this year out of the 50 that I want to do for the year. So I'm making some good progress towards my goals for 2026. And lastly, do we all remember the monster design that I did for box 22, the Imaginists box 22 for Toft? My little Bernie, the fire demon warrior. I'll pop up a picture because I don't think I can get to him. I don't know where I've put him at the moment. Nope, he's hiding somewhere. He's now on the website, so you can go and make your own. So he's up as a kit. He's in all his fiery gloriousness. So yellows, reds, I think it's peach as well. I can't remember the colours that you get on them. But yeah, he's up to be purchased as a kit, so you can make your own. I'm very excited to see him like that. He looks amazing in the colours they've chosen, and yeah, now I want to make another one. So I thought I would let you know. I'll pop a link to his listing in the description box for you below. Everything I have spoken about today will also be listed down below, and if I can tag any of the pattern designers or yarn dyers or any podcasts I've mentioned, then I will do that there as well. Yeah, and there are a couple of new podcasters on YouTube now as well. I will try and link them down below. I can't remember what their channels are called though. Lucy Loves Loops, I think that's one. I watched their video a couple of days ago now, I think. Yeah, so welcome to YouTube. Do go and have a look at their video and check them out, and I will see you all again in the next one. Next up is EAYF, so that will have a vlog and it will have a haul video potentially as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to get this year. I want to try and shop at dyers I've not seen before. That's my plan. Yeah, so that's everything I have for you today. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again in the next one. Take care. Bye.